congratulated our guys in the locker room right there getting a win. I mean, that is awesome to start the season off 1-0. Nothing that we ever take for granted to be able to get out here and get a win. Had a great start to the game. Got out offensively, man, and was hitting on all cylinders. It's hard to maintain that, I think, throughout the game. And, but I still think overall, offensively, we did some good things. Disappointed on the turnover that we had on the long run there on the third down offensively. And I do think, Brendan played a really good game. I think he could have played a lot better. And I think there's a couple plays he'd like to have back for sure that would have helped, get some more points up on the board. But overall, was pleased the way he played. He ran the offense very effectively, threw the ball accurately, threw it away when he needed to at times. Also, with his legs, generated some nice yards, including a couple touchdowns. So played a lot of guys, man. We had 34 guys made their debut at UC today. So that's a lot, and I think we traveled 75 guys maybe. So half of them was their first time they ever played here. I think new defense. I thought, there were some times out there. Obviously, we gave up a couple plays there with the slant that went for a long touchdown. And then the quarterback scrambling and throwing it in the back of the end zone, kind of threw it up and the guy comes down and catches it. Two big plays defensively that we gave up. And then the two other big plays, in my mind, were the two overzealous plays that we had on the quarterback. You guys get rid of it and you're hitting them. You got to be careful. We all know that. So, I think take away those 3 or 4 plays there and could have been a different thing. I thought our guys ran hard and hit was very physical from the defensive perspective. But we got to clean up the turnover stuff. I mean, there's no question. I mean, we create a turnover, we pick it up, and then we give it right back to them. I mean, those are opportunities that are lost. Proud of Pryor. Pryor came in and had over 100 yards today. Obviously popped the big long one for a touchdown, but he ran fast, hard, which was good to see. And Xavier, had another big game for us. Was good to see. And I think Joe Royer obviously had a good game, but takes a little bit off of Xavier. And I think that's going to be a good combination as we look at it throughout the season. And proud of Sterling to be able to catch that nice deep one down there for a touchdown. But I think overall proud of our guys, obviously, but we still got a lot of work to do as we head into week 2.
Questions for Coach? Chad?
Adjusting defensively, like you mentioned, a bunch of new players, a new system. Probably knew it wasn't going to look anything near a finished product today. How far along do you think they are in that process?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to look and tell how far along you are. I mean, obviously we're not anywhere near where we need to be. I think on the positive side, we played a ton of guys on defense. I mean, a ton. I mean, if we go back and count, I mean, we'll obviously know in the press conference, but, at least, 8 or 9 linebackers, 12 DBs. I mean, we played a lot of guys, and this is early. We're rotating guys. I know we did up front as well. So that's a positive. So there's a lot of guys young guys that are out there playing that man, they made some plays. There were times when we were out of our gaps. Obviously, I think that's to be expected sometimes when you got a new defense, first time, in a game, and going out and making these corrections. I mean, we'll be able to make those this week, and obviously we're going to need to as we play, Pitt next week. I mean, obviously there's ACC team that has a lot of talent, so we'll have to be much better.
Kind of going off of that, Towson had a good day running the ball. How much of a difference does adding someone like Dante Corleone to the defensive line make, just in terms of the whole defensive scheme, not just kind of plugging up lanes in the run game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make a huge difference whenever he's able to go because, he demands so much attention up front. When you're thinking about it, a center and probably 2 guards that are going to have to know where he's at. That's going to free up linebackers to run. He's going to get penetration. He's going to be in the backfield more. I mean, it's going to give you one more added, All-American in the rotation up front that'll certainly help. But also just the psyche for everybody. I mean, to be able to have him up front, he's so well respected on our team, and to be able to have him out there playing, I think will make a huge difference. There's no question about it.
You still ran for 275 yards, but normally you're a little more balanced. Was today just a luxury where Brendan was able to throw the ball? Because this is probably something you're not going to do every game, 383
No,
yards.
I mean, 383 and 275, I mean, we'll take that every week if we can. I mean, that'd be good. I think just early on, we popped a few long throws, and it seemed to be what was available at the time. I mean, we ran a few plays and we didn't get many yards rushing the ball there early, and so we continued to push the ball down the field, and we were able to make some plays down the field, which I think in return opened up the running game later on in the game, and our guys were able to pop some good plays. But it was good to see several guys. I mean, 3 guys over 50 yards. I mean, that was nice. But Evan popping that one play, I think right out of halftime was big, to be able to go back and get it explosive. That was one of the things that we talked about all off season, trying to get some more explosives in the run game. We didn't have as many for touchdowns last year, so that was good to have that.
Jared Bartlett, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 sack. Talk about his performance today.
Yeah, Jared coming in from West Virginia was more of an outside linebacker in the boundary. So, he gets in here and we put him more in the middle of the defense. So he's right over the ball. It gives him a lot more access to make plays. And where he does a great job is just downhill, filling in the A-gaps and then right off the tackles. And I thought he played a really good game today. He caused havoc. We've been seeing that all camp. He provides some size in there, but also some good strength and speed, and I think he'll continue to do that. I think he'll, as we go throughout the season, be able to continue to put pressure on offenses and be able to get in the backfield. I think that's where he's really good at, but also it's good to see, out in space and being able to make some plays. So I thought Jared had a great game.
You guys had 8 plays of 20 or more yards. How good was it to see that as your offense looks to be more explosive this season?
Yeah, obviously it's good. It's one of the things that we talked about this all season, how to get more explosive plays, how to push the ball down the field. And in the first half, we were able to do that. I feel like in the second half, not as much. Just the flow was a little bit different, obviously, in the second half. But early on in the game, man, it was exciting to watch. A lot of big plays coming from a lot of different people. And then our quarterback being able to, hit the ball down the field was good today. And I still think, man, we left some plays out there. We'll get better with that. We'll be able to, have some more explosives, hopefully, as we go throughout this season. But, AT had a nice big, broke a tackle, went there early in the game with a nice big one as well. So that's what I like because it wasn't just one guy. There was several guys that were making the big plays, pushing the ball down the field.
Coach, special teams miscues cost about 6 points today. What are your thoughts on that unit coming off of last season?
Yeah, we got to get it better. We missed a field goal today. We muffed a punt and lost it. We got to get a lot better with it. I did think, they did not kick it deep on us, but we took advantage in the kickoff return game, getting some great field position every time they did kick it off. Mace punted the ball great. Have some positives in the special teams, but I do think, anytime you turn the ball over, that's a no-no for sure in the special teams, and you got to knock down the field goals. As we get, you get tighter games, closer games, man, those points are crucial.
Coach, you mentioned the 34 Bearcats that made their debut today. Talk about Jaquan Sanks. Obviously, he became the first true freshman since 2015 to make a start. Just talk about what you saw from him today.
Yeah, I just go back to recruiting Sanks. Obviously, we really liked him a lot when we recruited him, just his personality and also the way he played high school football. He kind of turned heads when he got here. As we put him in and started playing him, we're like, man, he just keeps showing up, keeps making plays. We're rotating about 3 or 4 guys at his position. And as we go through camp, he just kept being probably the more solid player in the run and pass. He was more downhill, making the tackles, but also was able to recognize pass and get back in the pass game. So, it's outstanding work from a true freshman. You really, right where his position is, that's a very, very difficult position. And I really believe, like those freshmen that played today, and we had several that played, they'll see some big jumps in how much better they'll get from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 just because they've never played. That experience they're going to be able to get, he'll grow so much off of that. And, it's great to see him go out there and produce like he did. And I think, man, he's got a bright future ahead of him for sure.
Without watching the tape, happy with the offensive line today. I know you didn't have Phil, but the rest of the group looked like they did really good.
Yeah, I think they did solid. I think, man, they had a couple of players I think were pretty good. Their number 40 is a good player. We were looking at tape from last year. He caused some problems a little bit today. But I do think they protected well. I think, we got out of the pocket a few times just because they were dropping 8, and Torsby did a good job outside the pocket, those unscheduled plays. But I think overall they did solid. Anytime you're going to get 650 yards, your line's probably going to do something pretty good, and I thought he did.
You talked about some of the special teams miscues today. There were also a handful of fumbles. You talked about the big plays that were in the defensive line. How do you go about cleaning some of that up quickly? Again, the fumbles and miscues.
Well, the punt was he was up. We had him up too tight. That was on us. And it gets punted over his head. The wind was going that way, and you're trying to go back. You're trying to make a play. Sometimes you got to let that go. That's a decision. You just got to let it go. Vic's running down the sideline after breaking a tackle. He's got the ball in his inside arm. And what's going to happen when you start slowing down at the end? People are going to come punch it out, but you got to have it in your outside arm. These are fundamental mistakes. And the third turnover was Varner picking a ball up. He's a defensive lineman. I told him you got to carry it with 2 hands. So he's probably never carried a ball in his life. So Hopefully that doesn't happen again. That if he picks it up, he'll just fall down. I mean, so and I think we got to get those things corrected. And then we're overzealous on a couple of those. We're trying to rush the quarterback, get after the quarterback. Well, if he's throwing the ball, you got to pull off. And that's sometimes difficult, but those are the things we got to coach through because they'll cost us in big games. Because you think about the drive right before half. I mean, they're done. It was third down, and they threw a screen pass to the tight end. We got them tackled. They're gonna have to punt. And now we do that. Now they end up getting a field goal. Those are the things that hurt you. But, we got to coach through that and get those guys to be smarter.
You've coached a lot of quarterbacks in your career. Do you have to remind yourself that Sorsby's only started 7 games, only played in 10? Because talent-wise, it looks like he's got a lot of room to still grow.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's only started one game for us. I mean,
right.
in
his career, though.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, but it's a new offense. You got – he hears all these numbers and letters and words that are coming in. You got to relay that. Then you got to look at the defense. Then you got to figure out where to go with the ball. I mean, it's a lot that's going on, particularly with a guy, he's been here for 6 months. And so, yeah, it's very pleasing to see. I do think, he's got a lot of ball ahead of him. I think the sky's the limit. He's got arm talent. He's got some poise. He's got some legs. I mean, he's got great size. I mean, so, yeah, he's got a lot of things that are going for him. The biggest thing is just always taking what the defense gives you. I feel like today, there's – most of the pass plays we called, there's probably a guy that we can get the ball to, and maybe sometimes we're trying to force it somewhere else. But, I mean, that's coming from, inexperience, and that's coming from a guy who's still learning the offense. But there's a lot of good stuff. And, I'm going to try to lean on that and hopefully grow from where we're at today.
Going back to the 275 rushing yards you guys had today, over 200 of those were in the second half. Were there any adjustments you guys made at halftime to run the ball at a more prolific rate in the second half?
Yeah, there was a couple of things that we did. I think adjusting where we ran the football. I think early in the game we were running it back to the field. In the second half, ran it more to the boundary. Felt like we had a little bit better, more advantageous to run it into the boundary, and it worked. It paid off. I mean, the first time we hit it was Pryor's run. I mean, that was the first time we went over there on the outside zone and hit for 61 yards. So, and then I think also in the fourth quarter, we probably relied more on the run. At the game, we're like, hey, listen, let's get this run game going. So now you're getting more carries than what we did in the first half. I felt like they were giving us a pass, and we were taking it.
What does this game do for Royer's confidence? At Ohio State, he only caught 4 balls. A lot of things went on. He had 5 today, and I think 5 at halftime. Yeah, at 5 at 1/2. I think Royer's having a lot of fun. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around. He's extremely talented, with size, speed, got great hands, runs, like a wide receiver at that size. That's hard to find that. I think he can continue to get better again because he hadn't played a lot of ball either. I mean, he's really relatively inexperienced player, although he looks pretty good out there. I think he's going to be a mismatch problem for some guys throughout the season. I think he'll continue to get better as well, and we're going to have plays designed for him. I mean, we have to. He's one of our better players on our football team. But I think he's having a lot of fun. The teammates like him. They respect him. He's great to have in our locker room.
I feel like you're going to blow some people's minds.
People are getting sticker shock when they head to the grocery store.
Point blank, how can that be?
I was so shocked something like this could fall through the cracks.
Thanks for helping us pull off the surprise.
They're having fun.
It is all of those things, wrapped in one.
Getting that vibe off it. Lots of sunshine.
Sounds tremendous.
Are we encouraged to sing along?
Yes.
Are you tired? That's all I got left.